Hi, and welcome to the final video of the series, Why Bother with Manele? A story of power, money, and enemies. This is the final video, and I'd like to take the time to thank you for watching all the way till the end. It's been a long journey with a lot to take in, so I think it would be useful to recap a bit of the things that we discussed or learned in the process. We analyzed at first the morally ambiguous space in which Manele operate, how they are sometimes excluded and other times embraced by society. We advanced the idea that the conflict between Manele and the Western world, of which Romania is trying to become part of, is an ideological one. We've seen that ideology is not fixed or universal and has a material existence that's manifested through practice. But we've also seen that the structures of the state lead by ideology, which means that Manele's resistance to abide by the ruling ideology has caused Maneliști to be labeled as deviant by both those in power who impose their rules onto them and the population who conforms to the rules. We've understood how new forms of racism emphasize class difference rather than racial or cultural one, placing economic stigma on Maneliști. We've seen how Manele regain their agency through practice, using tactics such as bricolage to undermine the authority of Western values, such as reason or truth. We've likened Manele to other performances, like the carnival or Greek tragedy, and seen how they share certain subversive qualities. Finally, we've concluded that while these arts are time-bound, Manele are not, as they are active and constantly disruptive. Now, I wanted to end this with some sort of manifesto to give some guidelines on how to take this learning further and apply it for a better world. But I realized there is no way I could prescribe any behavior, not if I want to stay true with what Manele taught us, that there is no such thing. I can, though, share an experience of what worked for me, and you can draw your own conclusions. Remember the Maneliști I saw at Light Night in Leeds? I talk about them in the second video. How they were dancing to Manele in a busy commercial street during a citywide cultural event. That evening, I went straight at them and asked them if they were Romanian. A strange impulse made me approach them, one which never happened to me when on the streets of Romania I would see them engaged in similar activities. Actually, in those cases, my instinct was to cross the road to avoid them at all costs. I would be scared. But in this case, I wasn't. They confirmed my suspicions. They were indeed Romanians, and we exchanged pleasantries. I even shook the hand of a gypsy as he introduced himself to me. It was something about being in a foreign country, I think. Despite our backgrounds being completely different, just the fact that we were far from home as immigrants in a country that doesn't like us too much helped create a sense of shared vulnerability. For the first time, I could identify myself with them and their struggles. I saw them as human beings and not cultural stereotypes. And that for me is the first step. Seeing yourself in the other through practical act of identification. Maybe this way we can finally construct our identities through sameness and not through difference. Thank you all for watching. If there's something I want you to take away from these videos, is a change of perspective. A change in the way you see things, which is really what Manele are actually offering. So I'll show you this following video and I'll leave you with that. You can have a look and see, maybe test yourself on how many subversive elements you can find in it, or try maybe to relate to it and understand better where it actually comes from. Not judging it, not analyzing it, but just relating to it. I was a Traxxas professor, and I'm gonna make my exit by leaving you with the words of the master, FLORIN SALAM. Așa mișc cum trebuie lumea.